I'm here. And I open up his phone, filled with cash. He's just been robbing me.
You need to put a ring camera on your bag.
I have a ring camera, like that's the thing.
He's too little to activate
He's underneath it. So I guess now people know if they belly roll, they can get into my cash. I couldn't believe it.
But it's doing all, yeah.
At least you covered.
Yeah.
I'm getting sponsor when they come to knock on the door. I'll give you a cabbage. Have a cabbage.
Yeah, it is, and it's got.
Good evening, everybody. Hello. Today is Wednesday, December 18th. Welcome to our regular select board meeting. We're meeting here in a temporary meeting location at the Bethel Fire Station meeting room. And we have 4 members of the board with us this evening. That makes a quorum, so we can conduct business. We're also joined by Manager Sharon Jackson and Clerk Jessica Grover with the minutes. Thank you. We will now, if you please rise, and we'll do the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're at the point in the agenda that we welcome public comments. If anybody has any public comments? Yes, please.
My name is Betsy Cooper. I've lived in Bethel for about 40 years, and I've seen a lot of the flooding that this area has experienced. And this is the anniversary month from a year ago when we had the big flood. And so I've been thinking about that a lot and wondering if the town has made any particular plans or, taken any action to reduce that risk or be more prepared.
Well, thank you. Maybe just Sharon, if you have any just brief words to acknowledge, and we can for sure provide more information at another time, but just briefly.
So the town has an emergency, and that's being updated. The fire chief and the rescue chief are updating that, so that what it does is it notifies everyone of their duties, and when something like that happens, then from the top on down, the notifications are put into place. So that's what we're working on right now.
Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
When we have more information, I
We
think.
can share it. Come visit Sharon too. Thank you. Does anybody else have any public comments?
Can I just respond to something like that too?
Sure.
Amy Scott from the Northern Fog Center reached out to the Conservation Commission about wanting to know if the town wants any help with that type of thing, like resiliency to flooding and things like that. So I know, I think she talked to you, but is that something that we weren't really sure how to exactly respond to her, because I don't think that's necessarily something the Conservation Commission can take on, but is that, does the town would have any interest in having her help, or the Northern Fog Center help in any way?
So that would have to be incorporated in the emergency plan, which can be looked at once Mike and Dave finish that. It'll come to you and it's final review and approval. So it can all be looked at the same time. I just made that note here.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. We do have an agenda and a sign-in sheet, so you can follow along with us if you'd like to. Okay. All right, if there are no more public comments, we're going to move on to adjustments to the agenda. And we have 3 adjustments. The first one is on 10 10G. So 10G, we will we have another applicant that came in. So 10G, the amendment request is to have that read discussion and action to appoint Robert Everett, Michael Jodry, Clark Reiner, and Rose Lincoln to the Bethel Budget Committee for 3-year terms, and Travis W.H.A.T to the Bethel Budget Committee for the open 2-year vacancy. I move approval to adjust that agenda item.
One second.
Any comments? All those in favor? Okay, great. Motion passes, it's unanimous, so it does get changed, added to the agenda. The second one is on 10K. That adjustment is to read discussion and action to appoint Aaron Oster. I'm sorry, is Aaron here?
No.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Aaron Osteridge, Brandy Lee Rodney, and Travis Wojak to the Bethel Planning Board for 3-year term. I move approval.
Second?
Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Okay, motion passes, that adjustment gets added to the agenda, it's unanimous. The last one is to the warrant article, and it's puts in the amount. So this is AP warrant 2025-51. The amount is added to the agenda item 11A, and that's to read $217,935.71. I move approval to add to the agenda.
One second.
Any comments?
It's already on there for that amount.
I put it on your agenda. I gave you a copy of the new one.
It's the, we're fixing the record, not the.
Yeah, it wasn't previously posted.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor? All right. For the unanimous approval, that gets added to the agenda as well. Okay, that brings us to number 5, public hearing. And this is a public hearing for on-premise liquor license renewal for the Watershed Wood-Fired Kitchen located at 11 Philbrook Street. And I will open up that public hearing. Any comments? You gonna say anything? Nothing? Okay. We do have one of the partners here. Welcome. Right, there was no written comments submitted. All right, hearing none, we will close the public hearing, and we'll take action on the application a little bit later in the agenda. We're now on to action on the minutes, discussion and action to approve the minutes for December 4th, 2024. Are there any amendments?
I was just wondering on select board items when I asked about the ambulance chief position, did we have a date for when we were gonna put that on an agenda, or a rough time period, or did we not? Maybe we didn't.
I don't think we had a time frame that's on the list to work through after the first of the year at some point.
Okay.
Any other comments, changes, deletions, corrections? All right, I move approval of the December 4th meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Thank you, the motion passes. And we're on to 7. Acceptance of grants, donations, reimbursements, and/or sales of materials. I believe there's none. Thank you. Hearing none. And it brings us to the town manager report. Sharon.
Looks busy.
Update on the co-block project. There are a few minor housekeeping things to finish cleaning. Randy with air quality will be here Friday in the morning to run the air quality tests in the basement, town office, and the newspaper office. We should have the report by the end of day Tuesday, December 24th, to have the results from the test that he runs. We've scheduled the 2-day move for Thursday and Friday, January 2nd and 3rd. The flooring installation has been completed in the finance office and the CEO office. The desks in the finance office and CEO offices will be assembled by Quill on Monday, December 30th. Field Electric has completed the LED installation at the town office. Tomorrow morning, Field will complete the installation of the bathroom ceiling fans and the light fixtures in the bathroom. The kitchen sink cabinet has been installed, and the plumber will complete the sink work following that next week. The 2 dehumidifiers we purchased for the basement will be scheduled to be installed by the plumber after we receive the air quality report. Expenses have been paid and are still owed. That approximate total right now is at $110,400. The town office will be closed the following days in December and January. Tuesday, December 24th, we close at noon at the town office. Wednesday, December 5th, the town office and all town departments will be closed. Wednesday, January 1st, is New Year's Day, and the town offices and all departments are also closed. Monday, January 19th, we are closed for Martin Luther King Day. I met with the new county administrator, Zane Loper, at his office to discuss the billing process for the fiscal year 26 budget, the airport funding, and scheduling a time when he and the sheriff can meet with the select board and myself at a meeting. Right now, they're currently in the process of negotiating their new budget with the Teamsters Union, and not budget, but their Teamsters contract for the next 3 years. And Zane felt it would be best if we met sometime in February. They're hoping to complete their negotiations by the end of January. He is going to work on an itemized budget to present to us, to give us a more detailed presentation of what they're presenting to us this year. And he will notify me when to present our airport funding request in 2025. It was a productive meeting. We're still planning to schedule a special town meeting for Wednesday, January 22nd. We've had some changes that do have to be made now, and some came as a result of meeting with the auditor today. So I will have the draft warrant for the January 8th meeting. After the committee appointments tonight, I'll be contacting budget committee members by email to schedule a meeting for Monday, January 6th to review the draft warrant that we will be proposing, and then scheduling the fiscal year 2026 budget meetings. Courtesy letters were sent December 8th to property owners who have 2023 real estate taxes still unpaid. The letter outlines the foreclosure process. We will mail the 45-day notices on January 10th. This is being sent by certified mail. Automatic foreclosure will occur at the end of day on February 24th if 2023 taxes remain unpaid. Today, Stephanie and I met with Karen Olivieri from RHR Auditing to review changes, restatements, and beginning balance entries for fiscal 2024. Stephanie will make the changes needed before the next meeting so that we will be able to have the final update of the 6-month budget expense report that will show all the budgets that were approved and posted with the expenses to date. The winter parking ban which is section 75-33 in the town code, is posted on the town website. Parking vehicles upon any street in the town for more than 1 hour between the hours of 12:01 a.m. and 6 a.m. each day during the period commencing November 1 of each year and ending April 1 of the following year is hereby prohibited, except in the case of emergency. If vehicles are parked and not supposed to be, then they are towed. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Does anyone have any questions? Sharon? No? The only question I have is, do you have a rough number of how many courtesy letters were sent out?
12.
How many?
12.
12.
Thank you.
12 or 13, I believe it's
Thank you. Okay. And we move on to 9, board committee report. I believe we have none.
We have none.
Thank you. Right, on to our business items. The first one is discussion and action to approve the application for an on-premise liquor license renewal for Watershed Wood-Fired Kitchen located at 11 Philbrook Street. And you have a copy of that application in your packet. Any discussion?
I know you said in there that you had to do a new license versus renewing, is that right? Is that, because the dates seem to not line up quite right?
The state sent me a renewal thing, and it had a person's name with an attachment. And so I just never opened it, it didn't say State of Maine liquor license renewal. It has person's name with an attachment, so I just never.
It says like Alboso or something, or, yeah.
So you lapsed.
So I lapsed, yeah.
Okay.
And I called the state and I said, I think I'm getting close to my renewal and I haven't received anything. And they said, oh, it's this
Yeah.
person's name, Devin Cook. And I'm like,
Oh.
weird.
I think switching to this automated system has resulted in some
That's
confusion.
Mhm.
No, it's good, but I mean, I think the transition, like if you, especially if you fall right
Yeah, in the
where
class.
because it just switched at the end of November,
Yes.
I think. So.
And then I tried paying online, everything, whole thing right before I went to Sicily. And I filled out the whole application and it wouldn't accept my payment. So I mailed in a paper check and they said, oh, we don't accept paper checks. So I was out of the country at the time. So.
You're all
Ooh,
set.
whoa.
You're all set now.
Yeah,
All
thank
set
you.
now. Thank you.
I have a question on your drawing,
Yes.
proposed location, existing location, what is that referencing?
I have no idea, to tell you the truth.
I think she just copied her old one
Yeah,
before the other porch.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's not proposed, it's there.
I might have put the wrong, to be honest, I might have put the wrong attachment.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can't approve it then.
Well, the alcohol, because it includes like parking and stuff, but the alcohol would be in the building and on the deck, right?
Yeah, there's no alcohol on it, street level.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
Oh, this is just for site plan, that's why.
yeah.
This is the site plan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's from the original site plan.
Yeah, this is the original site plan before you were built.
Any other questions?
I thought maybe there was
No,
changes made
I
then.
might have uploaded the wrong thing, those pictures are so tiny.
Any other questions? All right, I'll move approval to accept the application for the on-premise liquor license renewal for the Watershed Wood-Fired Kitchen located at 11 Filbert Street.
I'll second.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, the motion passes unanimous. Thank you. We're on to 10B, and this is discussion and action to approve Jessica Grover, Bethel Town Clerk, as registrar of the voters for the town of Bethel for the next 2 years, per the statute Title 21A, Section 101-2, appointment.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Thank you, and maybe Sharon, can you just brief us on
So
that?
every 2 years, you have to approve appointment of
questions or discussion? All those in favor? And the motion passes unanimous. Thank you. All right. And now we're on to committee appointments, committee and board appointments. We do have a number of them. We'll have discussion and action, and they all have standing. Thank you, Clerk Jessica, for verifying that. The standing is you need to be a registered voter of the town of Bethel, or a couple of the committees have other towns or towns in the county, you need to be a registered voter of that applicable town. So thank you for providing that. That's in your packet that was on your table this evening. So as we go forward, how the voting works is it's a straight up and down vote. You have an opening, and you make a motion for an applicant to fill that opening versus a nomination process. You know, Sarah had a question on how that works, whereas a nomination process is you take a nomination or you take a slate and then you vote from that. So this is just a straight up vote.
But we have done nominations in the past.
No. We started to do nominations last year, and then that wasn't the way to do it. We went straight up. On committee appointments, committee and board appointments. All right, so we're all good on that, we understand that? Okay. So our first action item is with the Bethel Appeals Board. And that is one opening for a 3-year term. I just wanted to get in your packet, thank you again, there's a trio rosters of all the committees and such. Just wanted to pull that up. There we go. We have one applicant for this open position, and it is Lenny Shaw.
I'll make the motion that we appoint Lenny Shaw to a 3-year term to the Bethel Appeals Board.
Second.
Any questions, comments, discussions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor? Okay, the motion passes. Lenny Shaw for Bethel Appeals Board. We continue on, and the next one we have is the Bethel Airport Authority. There are 2 openings, 3-year terms, and we have 2 applicants. We have applicant Bill Allen and applicant John Mason for those 2 openings.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Bill Allen and John Mason, both for 3-year terms to the Bethel Airport Authority.
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor? Thank you, the motion passes unanimous. We go on to 10E, and this is with the Rec Committee. And the Rec Committee has 2 openings. And we have 2 applicants.
I'll make the motion that we appoint Travis Burke and Lindsay Gardner, both for 3-year terms to the Bethel Rec Committee, Recreation Committee.
That's great. That will continue a majority of Bethel on that board, and that's per code. We do have 3 other positions, Greenwood, and Newry. So this keeps us in balance to the code. Any other questions, comments?
I did have it, was Haley Andrews is still on the committee for Greenwood? It's on here. I thought, as far as I know, she is, yes. I feel like we talked about her stepping out and down at some point, but I don't know if we picked a new person.
I don't think so, I'll have to do research, I thought it was a different person who had stepped out.
No, it was, here, no, not here, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you, when you check it out, if there is some action to be taken, we can take it at the next meeting. All right, any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Okay, the motion passes unanimous. Okay, we're on to the Bingham Forest Committee. And there is 1 opening, and we have 1 applicant.
I'll make the motion that we appoint Peter Southam to the Bingham Forest Committee for a 3-year term.
Second?
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? And the motion passes unanimous. We're on to 10G. And this one relates to the Budget Committee. So the Budget Committee has...
I would make the motion that we appoint Robert Everett, Mike Jodry, Clark Rednier, and Rose Lincoln to the Bethel Budget Committee for a 3-year term. Did you want to make 2 separate motions, or can we string them all together?
You can string them all together.
And Travis Wojcik.
Yep.
Wojcik? For a 2-year term.
Second?
So,
That would be 4 and 1.
yeah, that's 4 and 1, so we have 4 3-year terms and vacant to fulfill 2 years left on that term. So that would be to 2024, this would be 25 and 26. Okay, any other questions, comments?
Which is the 2-year term?
There's a vacancy,
Yeah.
the vacancy here, on the renewals in 2023.
Okay.
It was vacant all of last year.
We just gotta keep it.
Yeah.
Right, keep it in the cycle. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor? All right, motion passes unanimous.
Congrats.
10H, we're on to the capital improvement committee. This is an at-large position done annually, and so it's just that 1 opening and 1 applicant.
I'll make the motion that we appoint Jim Bennett to the Capital Improvement Committee for a 1-year term.
Second?
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We're on to the Conservation Commission. And there's 1 position there and 1 applicant.
I don't think I got your application through.
You didn't get it?
Not my
I didn't get it, but I know you didn't give it to me because I wrote it. But then I was like, I don't know what I wrote, I forget.
I think that was,
But you're here, so you want
Yeah,
to do it, so.
yeah,
I
you wanted
know. Okay.
that was, I think, in the second distribution.
So let me just know.
No, she came in and I photocopied and I thought I attached back of yours and I put it into.
I was pretty quick. put it, it's still warm from the copier when I came. Okay, I'd make the motion that we appoint Sarah, is this a 2-year one?
It's 1 3-year term.
1 3-year term? Okay, I would make the motion that we appoint Sarah Southland to the Bethel Conservation Commission for a 3-year term.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? I have just one general comment. I am going to vote in favor, but it's just a general comment, is having a select person on a committee as well. For me, there's some, that's not, it's a little incompatible, just because the select board does the rules and procedures and processes for that board. And so that's just my general comment.
Michelle, what do you think, when it comes time to adopt rules and procedures, you should recuse yourself from that process when it comes to this?
No, I don't think it's that strong.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, if the townspeople, is to be citizen oversight, this is what these committees are, and in the code, it has, if they want a select person to be on it, it says, they want to be on it. But I don't have a big issue with it, I just put it out there, just as a general.
Yeah.
I think when I first got on the select board, I asked
Yeah.
the group if
I remember that.
Sorry, I think I did ask if I should step down, and I was told no, it was perfectly fine, so I kept going. So if there was a problem, it wasn't.
I
anything.
say, fill anything that you can fill,
It's,
Sarah.
I'd love for somebody else.
If anybody wants to do anything, you're really awesome.
Just sharing where my perspective
Yeah.
on that.
Sorry.
Sorry. Any other comments? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Sorry, probably shouldn't vote, right? Or-
No, there's nothing that says you
Okay.
can't vote. It's- You need to have a conflict of interest, which is
No.
per law. Okay,
Motion
Motion
volunteering.
motion passes. We're on to the ordinance review committee.
I thought we were gonna switch that.
No, we didn't switch it because we don't actually, he can be an at-large member on the planning board.
And for the ORC committee, we have 1 3-year term available, and we have 2 applicants. So, one is Butch Allen, the other Rose Lincoln. Discussion? I think Rose is also applied.
To the budget.
For the budget, yeah.
So on the planning board, then there's another opening on the ORC,
I'm sorry?
We'll get to it.
but this way,
This way, both could be on.
okay, this way here, he's not gonna chance.
I'll move approval for Birch Allen to continue on the ORC.
I'll say that.
We have Rose for budget. Any other questions or comments?
I actually thought there was a second opening, am I wrong?
It hasn't been developed yet.
Oh, I thought you were standing in, was that it?
That's a whole separate thing.
So the
Oh,
composition,
okay.
the composition of the ordinance review committee is it's a 5-member committee. 3 are at-large positions, and 2 are chosen from the boards, 1 from the planning board and 1 from the select board.
Okay,
So we have fairly recent history, we put the terms to a 3-year, so as the committee could be comfortable in the time frame to work on ordinances. So it works out that there's 1 at-large position open each year.
okay.
Any other questions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor? The motion passes. We're on to 10K, and this is for the planning board.
3 open, 3 applied.
Correct, we have 3 open positions and 3 applicants. Any discussion?
Just a general comment and very similar to your comment, Michelle. I'm a little uncomfortable with the overlap between planning board and ORC. I think it's weird for people to write the rules and then be in charge of enforcing them. It's just a personal opinion. I know we have one person, but to have an at-large member in addition to one person, it just feels a little. That said, that particular applicant is highly qualified and very much like.
The planning board isn't, but, they can give you, they're not exactly the enforcer, they're code enforcement officers, but
But it's the initial process.
they apply,
They're the judge.
they apply the ordinances.
Correct. I just feel like sometimes, in my experience on the planning board, people are like, well, when we wrote that, we meant this. And it's not, like, it's just, it gets a little hazy, I think.
I'm not really sure that that person's interested in holding both positions.
We have applications for them.
Well, wait, who is this?
But he's,
Aaron,
Aaron? But he
he's
only
not,
applied.
he's not an applicant
He's
for.
already on the board, correct, he's already on the board. We don't have a resignation from.
Oh,
No,
I
and
see.
his term isn't up.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I thought that was gonna, oh, okay,
since he refuses to be on the select
that
board.
makes a difference, okay.
Yeah, maybe he'll change his mind, but that's not what we have in front of us.
So anyhow, with 3 and 3, I will make a motion to appoint Aaron Osterhage, Brandy Lee Rodney, and Travis Wojak, I'm so sorry, to the planning board for 3-year terms each.
Second,
Right, any other comments? The only other comment I have to put as a future agenda item, I noticed with this committee, it's a 7-member committee, and their terms return 3, 3, and 1. And if we can look at the terms to go 2, 2, 3. So if we could put that as an agenda item after the first of the year, so we can work on that. Because it will affect a couple of the seating going forward. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? All right, motion passes. We're on to the Bethel Water District. And we have 1 opening and 1 applicant.
I would make the motion to appoint Randy Autry to the Bethel Water District for a 3-year term.
second,
All right, any further comments or questions? Great. All those in favor? And the motion passes unanimous. I think that brings us to the end of appointments for committees and boards.
So just to sum it up, we have the Greenwood and the Newry position for Bethel Rec, and then that's it.
For Bethel Rec, we have 2 Greenwood and 1 Newry.
Yep.
Yep, and that's
And then we're full across the board. for-
Yeah.
For all committees.
Yeah.
But I'll look at the report and make sure we're all good on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
so my term is up on the ORC, and that means, will we be doing that tonight?
No, we'll do that in January. All the
Rest of
committees
the year.
Oh,
do, they reorganize in January, and they have their organizational meeting, and they have to do their chair, vice chair, and then the boards that need to appoint to whatever the code says for a committee or board will do that again in January on that. I know Sarah had some comments in regards to wanting to discuss more about the process that we use and maybe do like an interview process and such. And so I think if you work with Sharon and add that to the list to talk about in a future agenda item, we can work on something like that or discuss it anyway. That would be good. And I want to thank the committee members that showed up tonight. Thank you. Yay. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your new work. I appreciate it. And also to thank the persons on the committee that have decided not to renew or are going on to other things. There are some long-standing committee members on some of those boards that have done a lot of work. So good luck, and we look to hear from you. Thank you. All right. continue on now with the quitclaim deeds. Before we get into the individual deeds, maybe Sharon, you could just kind of recap what's happening here with the deeds.
Quitclaim deeds.
Yeah.
So, tonight we have 3 quitclaim deeds that you'll be asked to approve. Once the town forecloses on property, then it becomes the ownership of the town. And this past year, the law changed again, changed last year, but changed again this year. So they have to follow a different process now for foreclosures. And these 3, after the foreclosure, we had to, excuse me, send out a new 90-day letter to the former owner, and they have 90 days beyond the foreclosure date to make their intentions and pay everything that they owe. These 3 owners did come forward, so we didn't have to list them with a realtor, which we would have had to if they decided they were not going to buy it. Then we would hire a real estate agent to list the properties. And I brought that back to you a little over 90 days ago with that process. So the first one that we have, there was approximately $9,000 that was paid. What was the amount on that one?
Which one is that?
The cell tower.
I think it was more like 6 or 7.
6. Okay, so they did pay everything. We had a really hard time finding the owners because the owner had sold, and that's what we were having a hard time finding. But we ended up finally tracing it. The girls did a really good job. Jessica actually did a really good job in finding this company. And so they have been sold, and it includes all taxes through the fiscal 25 taxes that have to be paid. So,
Up to the addresses.
yes, and we have the current address now, the phone number and everything for the first one. The other 2 were condos, and he actually came from Massachusetts last week, and he paid that. That was just a little over $22,000 for both of those. And that tax is paid through the 2025 tax year, so everything is all paid on that as well. And then this quitclaim deed will, the paperwork, this will be filed with the registry of deeds, and it will go into his name.
Thank you, thanks for that background. All right, are we ready to take action, knowing that background? Okay. The first one is, what action would you like to take to sign on a quitclaim deed for Fairway Road, map lot 7-28-0N, or ON, to New Singular Wireless PCS LLC on this foreclosure property?
I'd motion to sign the quitclaim deed for Fairway Road, map lot 07028, ON to New Singular Wireless PCS LLC enforcement property.
Thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all is in favor? Okay, the motion passes, unanimous. That brings us to, what action would you like to take to sign on the quitclaim deed for 53 Sunday River Road, map lot 185-7, to Spurgeon M. Cox Jr., Paula J. Cox, and Brian Cox of Westwood, Massachusetts, on this foreclosure property.
I would motion to sign the quitclaim deed for 53 Sunday River Road, map lot 18005-007 to Spurgeon M. Cox Jr., Paula J. Cox, Brian Cox of Westwood, Massachusetts, foreclosure property.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? The motion passes. And then what action would you like to take on the quitclaim deed for 53 Sunday River Road, map and lot 185-8 for Spurgeon M. Cox Jr., Paula J. Cox and Brian Cox of Westford, Massachusetts on the foreclosed property.
I would make a motion to sign the quitclaim deed for 53 Sunday River Road, map lot 18-5-8, version M, Cox Jr., Paula J. Cox, Brian Cox of Westwood, Massachusetts, foreclosure property.
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Thank you, motion passes. We continue on to business item P, discussion and action to approve the 6-month select board meeting schedule, which is January to June. We had it in our packet from the last meeting, or in our homework from the last meeting, and I believe we have one on our table here as well. Any discussion?
Good. I would make the motion to approve the 6-month select board meeting schedule as noted.
Second?
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passes. Now we move on to Q, which is discussion and action to approve the Town of Bethel road closure application. And we had that in our homework, and we also, do we have it on our table here?
Yes.
A draft of the application to request road closures in the Town of Bethel. Comments? Questions?
The only question I have is whose responsibility is it when they're closing a road to contact like the sheriff, fire
Yeah,
department,
that's on-
things of that nature?
Yeah.
Is that the town after we approve the closure, or is that the onus of the applicant?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that should be
Yeah, that's it.
on this here application.
Yeah. I had that down, and then also maybe like, I think when we talked about this previously, like, are there gonna be barricades and, like, who's gonna provide that, right?
That's the responsibility.
Right, but it's just not super clear here, so.
Put it on the form.
Yeah, just
Nobody
like,
can come
do you have a way to barricade the road? Can you contact the sheriff and let them know?
Yeah,
I mean,
fire.
and ambulance probably needs to know too, right? If there was a call that needed to get in, they would just need to know that the road's closed. Or do we, once we approve this, then do we tell all the departments? Or-
Yeah, that was my question, was, who,
So we could ask on the form, sort of a checklist of
Yeah.
what's the plan for the road closure. Similar, I mean, we ask that when they come forward anyway, you know, are they gonna have people in guard vests, or are they gonna have, are they gonna expect the barriers and such, and what materials do they have? And traditionally, if it's parade at Main Street, they tap into the resources of the town.
Yeah.
The town has the barriers and the cones and the traffic safety.
Right.
And the Public Works puts it out, but perhaps we could ask them what their, you know, for internal review processes, what's your safety plan? So make sure you
I mean,
notify.
an answer to the
so-
safety plan is we'll work it out with the office.
Or I think we should, like, 'cause I think if we think about it, like, where we had problem was when a new organization who had never closed the road before
Yeah.
asked and didn't know what to say. So I feel like if we have a checklist, like, you need to have barriers.
Yeah, just to know your
You do
parameters.
need to have people standing there with safety vests. Like, can you provide all that before we say yes to closing the road? Or-
Another little kerfuffle in this whole thing is butters.
Yeah, I also had that on my list too, is like, how are they notified that the road will be closed in plenty of time, so they know that it'll be.
Specifically with like major businesses, such as the grocery store.
I think, again, we've done this in the past on a case-by-case basis. We do post public notice.
Yeah.
And I think in the case of, like, when at the intersection by the, where the Gem 9 now is, in the Gem, and we did notify, or we asked the applicant to notify the abutters. So, like,
I
think
just
it's,
didn't know if maybe it should go for a hearing.
I would,
Would it?
I
Too
would
much?
not recommend a hearing.
Okay.
Any place I've been, you don't have to do a hearing.
Okay.
We'll take this back, there should be a checklist.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be the responsibility of the town to have to do all this.
I agree.
I know right now what they do is they contact the highway department. And the highway department, whether it's on a workday or a non-work day, they go out and book homes and things out. And we shouldn't be responsible for that. They should be letting us know how they're going to do this. We can provide codes for them, but there should be something on them.
There's that.
And listing who they need to contact and what they need to have on this checklist so that you can approve that. The other thing, there is a difference in closing a state road versus a
Yeah.
town road. You can approve that for a town road, but when you close a state road, you're legally supposed to contact the state and ask the state if they have objections to that road being closed. I've been involved in some state roads where they absolutely said no, and others, because of the road it is, they don't mind.
Does the state's timeline for that notice mesh with ours? Or should it be just like noted, we need to have it in 2 months in advance for a state road or something like that?
so the DOT, at least on the
Oh,
state
look at you.
Yeah.
State road, because this is kind of what when we have a request coming before, this is kind of what I use as a review and the points that they hit. They do have here a little stricter, we have a stricter, they look to have advance notice put out, and then they want the applicant to put public outreach at least 5 days prior to a closure. And again, it's the responsibility of that organization that's sponsoring the event. But they have, what's the traffic control plan, what's the closure plan, what's the media plan, what's the law enforcement authority, and they go into a little bit of detail as far as messaging, if you wanted to do that messaging. But these were kind of the points, and I think the traffic control plan, what's the closure plan, what's the notification plan, some of those things in generality, we can use as a checklist.
Yeah.
That's fair, that sounds like annoying for the first year, but a
Yeah,
little bit of a
right, then you
copy-paste
can-
situation.
Well, and, the reason that we thought this needed to happen is because the last 2 times you've been asked to close roads, less than 2 weeks has been given, really.
Yeah.
So you really have to have more notice because you really need to, have it in the paper. But the town should not be responsible for any costs. It has to be on the person making the request.
Can you state it that way on the application? I was just thinking, because I'll be
Yeah, it's like the
writing it.
checklist.
Yeah,
You have
well-
the checklist for what they're gonna do, but then you could state something like, it is the responsibility of the planners to notify the police, the ambulance,
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah.
And if it is a state road, it is the applicant's responsibility to contact the state for their,
And that's what we can work on in bringing.
And
Yeah.
the town does take the responsibility once we give them approval to do the public notice and get that word, out. So there is a bit of responsibility to notify our citizens of what's happening. And then just by default, because the town has the resources of the barricades and the cones,
Right.
we provided those.
Yes,
But coordination is
Yeah.
definitely helpful.
yes.
I was thinking also, I mean, it has like the applicant information, but maybe information for the person who, like, it may not be the same person who
point person?
applies, who is like the point person on the day-to-day event, so maybe that's important to get at least a phone number so that
Yeah,
if something goes down,
yeah.
like who we.
He has a contact number.
Yes.
So I have a question. The checklist, is that going to be something that's going to be put on the application, or is it going to be something that is handed to the applicant?
Yes, you would.
It can be a two-sided.
Yeah.
We can make it a two-sided.
Okay, and the other,
The instructions on one side and the application.
okay, and the other question is, the timeframe. How are we going to notify of the timeframe? That the application has been?
30 days.
Says
Yeah, you did
30
right at the
days.
bottom. Request for road closures must be made
Oh,
30
okay.
days prior to the closure date
All right.
to ensure enough time to notify the public and area businesses.
And if we have this new, we can always put it on the news of the website too, of
Mhm.
saying, there is now a new procedure for road closure,
Yeah.
a new application to get the information out.
And maybe just send it to the people we denied. Just send it to, is it Dan and Chandler, just so they have it.
Well, we're just pretty much formalizing a process that we already have. Yeah. And the form can be posted where it has other uses for town property and stuff.
I didn't hear you mention fire, but they should probably be notified.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
It's emergency,
Emergency.
Police
and safety services, yeah.
Would it be helpful for them to also include, I know it says street name and, but maybe a map?
Intersection.
Or like a diagram, like this is exactly where we want to close.
Yeah,
Because
because-
we were confused on High Street, High Street, which part of High Street?
No.
Behind him? Behind Langley Provisions, isn't that right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
We'll just ask for diagram.
We'll
Yeah,
ask for
that's
that,
it, yeah.
a diagram.
This is so funny how you don't know the names of any streets.
That you drive every day.
I drive every day. I have no idea.
Any other suggestions for the form? So would you be okay with putting these suggestions down and we'll take another look at it?
Yes, we'll bring it back on the 8th.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
All right, everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we'll continue moving on. So now we have R, which is discussion and action to approve a special town meeting warrant for January 22nd, 2025. We did get an update from Sharon on that, and we have no action before us to take on this. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? All right, hearing none, we come to 10S, which is discussion and action to review the proposed changes to the fee schedule. And we have no action on this. I think this is going to be after the first of the year, given
Yes.
everything that we have on our plate. It's not forgotten, it's just going to be,
We're just waiting for a few more things on this one, and we'll bring it back on the 8th.
okay, thank you. All right, any questions on that before we move on? Hearing none, we are at the warrant. And this is discussion and action to approve AP warrant 2025-51 in the amount of $217,935.71. And I'll move approval.
It's just-
You do have it in your packet on the table. So we have a motion.
Oh, I'll second it, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And are there any questions? You need a little bit more time to look at it? You guys good? Right. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Thank you, the motion carries. All right, we are now at 12, select board items. Any items?
I just had a question, is the ice rink going in this year?
Yes, it
Hold on.
is. Nate's ordered the base, and I haven't heard if it's come in yet, but yes, they
I don't know
have.
what my name is. Up at Appleton, in the same location.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Very
make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, look at her go. Second.
All right, is there any further comments? All those in favor?